Hey, what's up guys? I'm Praetorian and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 with the Man the Guns expansion. In this short series, we're going to be taking a look at the Pacific War from the perspective of the Japanese. So I wanted to do this series because we're currently doing a USA campaign on the channel, and as you guys may well know, the United States does take a while to get involved in the conflict, and I really wanted to show off the naval mechanics of the game, since I know that it's going to be several episodes at the very least before we get to see those in that US campaign, so that's why we're going to be doing this. So this is the Japanese campaign that I started prior to that USA one off camera. We're in the 11th of December 1939, and before we get started with the war in the Pacific, I'd like to go ahead and show you guys the world situation so you guys kind of know what's going on. Now, for the most part, everything's kind of happened as you would expect it to. Germany has already defeated France, and they've conquered Poland and Denmark as well, and the Axis also dominates the Balkans for the most part. So the United Kingdom still dominates the seas as you would expect. However, there was one major difference with this campaign from the traditional one, and that is the fact that Mexico went communist. Now you see that they have a civil war here. That's something that just developed recently, but they went communist and they joined the Comintern, and then they attacked their southern neighbors here in Central America, attacked several southern neighbors, and that of course then resulted in those countries joining the Allies, which then brought the Soviet Union into conflict with the Allies. So the United Kingdom currently stands alone with their dominions, of course, against both the Axis and the Comintern. So they're in a pretty dire situation overall, as the United States still sits in their undisturbed isolation. They still have not got involved with the conflict just yet. But we don't really care about the petty squabbles of Europe. We are attempting to build our own Asian empire. Now, as you may have noticed, we do control all of China. In fact, we actually own all of China. We have defeated them in the war, and we did it relatively quickly. I would say it was a little bit shorter than a year, about 10 months. The conflict with China started in late 1937, and we defeated them, I've been thinking about 10 months, so about late 1938. And the way that we did that is, while they were distracted trying to defend Beijing against our forces, majority of their army was up here in the north. I then launched several naval invasions to take most of their ports. Eventually, we took over the entire coastline, and my overall goal was to try and knock China out of the war as quickly as possible. And the way I did that was build several motorized divisions, and we used our motorized divisions to just race forward to take the victory points and try and take over as much of the country as possible, and most importantly, cut off all of the Chinese forces in the north from their capital, Nanjing. And it overall worked out quite well. We ended up getting several of those motorized divisions cut off and destroyed, unfortunately, but I think it was worth it because obviously we were able to get them knocked out fairly quickly. It did use up a ton of fuel though, and just having them darting all over the countryside, which when they got cut off, of course, they got cut off from their fuel, and then they ended up moving extremely slowly, and that's why a couple of them ended up getting destroyed. Not long after the conquest of China, France was defeated in Europe, and we thus demanded that they give us control of Indochina, and they agreed to that, and so we were able to get this peacefully, which has allowed us to become the owner of the region rather than just the controller, which means we can better utilize the resources here. And that's where we pick up in today's episode. We have just declared war on Malaysia, and we are going to send our forces down the Malay Peninsula to try and take Singapore as quickly as possible. Not seeing many defenders here, so should not be too difficult. Obviously, this is very much overkill. I sent far too many troops here, but I was expecting a little bit more resistance. Siam is in our faction, though I have not called them into the war just yet, so we'll do that now. And while this series will very much be focused on the naval battles, I do want to just quickly cover the land situation. We have a group of Marines here that are going to be launching from Saigon to take Borneo. So that'll be their task. We have further Marines that are going to be invading into the rest of the Dutch East Indies Islands so that we can gain these resource-rich areas for our empire, because we desperately need them. I have almost completely filled up our fuel stockpiles, which are fairly large, I'd say, but unfortunately we do not produce much oil, so that will not last us long once we get our ships out there moving. Finally, we have an invasion force here under Yamashita, who will be invading into India from 2 different directions here. I don't know that we'll invade up here immediately because I didn't bring many divisions up here, but this will be the main force that'll be invading into here and then eventually into Bengal so that we can enter into the rest of India. Finally, we also have a few divisions here. Once again, a little bit overkill here, but these guys will be joining that Red Army in the far north once they finish up conquering Hong Kong. So that essentially covers the situation on land. Now, for the focus of this video, let's talk about the naval situation. So let's start out by taking a look at our current fleet. We have 7 carriers, 6 of those are fleet carriers, so the same amount that Japan started the war out historically in 1941 with, but unlike 1941 historical Japan, we only have 1, I think it's actually an escort carrier, and no light carriers, unlike Japan historically, which had several escort and light carriers. So overall, we do have a few less carriers than historically, but we are starting the war much earlier. In fact, if you want to consider the Pacific War starting with the bombing of Pearl Harbor, we're almost exactly 2 years prior to it. I would have loved to had it at the exact time as the historical one, but unfortunately this is the soonest we could do it. We have 10 battleships, but none of those are new battleships, unfortunately. I regret not training my Navy enough, having them doing drills enough. I was worried about the fuel supplies. We ended up doing okay on fuel supplies, but during the war with China, they were kind of getting a little bit short. So I was concerned about that, and I didn't let them train up enough, and that did result in us not having anywhere near enough experience to do everything that I wanted to do. Essentially, we're only able to design a new carrier hull, a light cruiser hull for support, and a basic destroyer. That's pretty much all we were able to get going here. We don't have new submarines going right now. I don't want to build any of the older ship designs because I don't think they would compete too well with the newer British and American ships. So therefore, we're only building carriers, cruisers, and destroyers right now, and hopefully once we get the war started, we should start building up our Navy experience, and that should allow us to build some battleships, some newer battleships, as well as some newer submarines. So now that the war has started, in fact, it started this very day, December 11th, 1939, we just declared war. Let's go ahead and start by getting our fleets assigned to their areas so we can try and dominate the Pacific and hope to destroy as many British ships as possible, try and get some Navy experience, and try and dominate the area so that we can sink any convoys that come through here. And we'll take a look at our exact strategy here as we get started. Let's go and start with our first fleet, which is under Admiral Yamamoto, and he has the largest fleet here, including the largest strike force that we have here, that has 3 full-size fleet carriers. He has the pride of the fleet, a battleship, the Yagato, as well as 3 additional battleships, and then 6 modern light cruisers and 4 modern destroyers. He has the most modern fleet, and it will be his job to take out the British in the Pacific. I'm hoping to turn the South China Sea into the battle zone where we engage them. I feel like this is the best place. It's just an ocean, so there's no penalties to any of our fleets. And most importantly, we should have good air coverage in many of these regions. We've got naval bombers flying from here. We have some close air support dive bombers flying from the mainland. And then we also have additional planes over here that are some of them are currently exercising. So let's go ahead and get the fighters and the naval bombers flying overhead now. I might be doing something else with that close air support wing, so let's leave them as is. Let's go ahead and get these guys assigned too. We're going to make sure we assign more ground crews here since this is the key battleground here. Let's go ahead and assign the close air support here to naval bombing as well. We have additional planes throughout the Pacific that they're going to assist our fleet, ground-based bombers, and we're gonna go ahead and get all of these guys assigned here. This is unfortunately just close air support. We don't really have enough naval bombers. It's another thing that we kind of have a massive shortage of, unfortunately. Now that our Air Force is assigned, let's get back to our fleets, and we're going to want to assign the strike force, the main strike force here to the South China Sea. We are also going to be assigning this fleet to the Philippine Sea. That'll be their area of assignment as well. So they're going to be handling those two areas. I have all of our task force, their icons chosen based on their current job. So these two task force here are going to be assigned to patrols, try and find the enemy fleets. We also have these beautiful dolphins here. They are going to be our convoy escorts through the region. We also have two mining fleets. This mining fleet is our mine layer fleet, and we want them to start laying mines throughout here, but especially the South China Sea, since once again I do feel like this is going to be the main battleground against the British fleet, because we do not want to go too much into their area of operations just yet, where they can support their fleets with ground-based fighters and bombers. In addition to that, we have a task force here with several heavy cruisers as well as a battleship that's going to be supporting our Marines. They will be doing the naval invasion support, and not only will they escort them to their objective, they'll also provide a bit of bombardment as they launch their attack. So that is it for Yamamoto's fleet. Let's take a look at the next one, which is under Admiral Koga, and he's going to be the home fleet. Now he's going to be covering 3 areas, so let's go ahead and get the strike force going out in these 3 regions here: East China Sea, coast of Japan, and the Mariana region. So thus we have given him enough task forces to cover all these areas. Not exactly necessary to have one for each region, but I decided to do so anyway. I'm hoping that this area is a bit safer, so we do not have very large convoy escorts. I suppose we'll see if that was smart or not. Let's move to our 3rd and final main fleet under Admiral Ozawa, and he's going to be covering these 2 sea regions here. Once again, we got the strike force fleet, rather large, just taking a look at them. They currently have 2 carriers. Both of these are full-size carriers. They can carry 60 planes, and which is the largest carriers we can currently build at the moment, as well as 3 older battleships and several heavy cruisers. I didn't look at the strike force under Admiral Koga. He currently has 2 carriers, but only one of them is a full-size fleet carrier, the converted battleship hull. This one is a converted cruiser hull. I wouldn't even call this a light carrier. It's more of an escort carrier. They only have 20 planes, so overall he does not have as large of a fleet as some of our other admirals. He also has 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and several destroyers. So back to Admiral Ozawa's fleet. Let's go and get all these guys assigned. I think I did assign this guy. Yes, let's go ahead and get these guys assigned to patrol, and then get these 2 assigned to convoy escorts, because I do expect British submarines in the region. Typically, the British always seem to have submarines in the Pacific. We have our own submarine fleets, 2 submarine fleets actually. They're both still moving to their objectives from Japan, but this fleet here is going to be covering, and we'll just go ahead and get them all selected here. We want them to do convoy raiding, and they'll be doing it in the South China Sea, as well as the Straits here and the Java Sea. And that'll be their task force, and that'll be their area, excuse me, while this fleet here is going to be covering, they're going to be based right out of here in Saipan, and they'll be doing convoy raiding in the Bismarck Sea, the Eastern Micronesia, and the Solomon Sea. Now each one of these submarine or Wolfpack task force are assigned to have 8 submarines. We have set up their task force composition. They're actually the only ones I was able to do that with because we're kind of short on a lot of our other ships. And so thus I have set up a reserve fleet with 9 submarines to replace our inevitable submarine losses. So that is the setup for our naval conflict here in the Pacific. All right, so let's go ahead and launch our first invasion here. I'm going to go ahead and allow our general to control the army here, though we will make sure that these divisions here get cut off immediately. And also let's go ahead and have these troops here. So we'll launch the first initial attacks just to make sure that this gets done somewhat competently. And you guys are going over this way, and there we go. All right, excellent. So we'll allow them to go ahead and attack, try and get to Singapore as quickly as they can. our forces here. Yes, we'll probably want to go ahead and launch our invasions here as well. Well, it seems that the British Raj has not yet been called into the conflict yet, so we'll have to wait until they are actually pulled in. And as for our Marine invasion force here, it does seem that they still have a good solid 6 days before we'll be able to launch the invasion. So you'll notice that with all of our fleets out there, we now, and of course our Air Force as well, we now only have 224 days left of fuel. Unfortunately, it looks like the Navy is using 4.1 thousand per day, while the Air Force is using 1.2 thousand. A little bit of consumption from the Army, but not too bad. But luckily, we did build up the fuel reserves so high, so that should last us a while. But once we seize these oil fields throughout the Dutch East Indies, that should get a lot better. We have engaged our first convoys. These are 17 freight convoys and 67 freight convoys. I love the new addition that it now tells you what kind of convoys they are between freight convoys or troop convoys, because before you always were wondering, am I sinking troops right now or is this just freight convoys? So I love that. Let's just take a look. Yeah, it looks like they're attempting to flee, but our submarines have engaged 17 convoys there. Over here we've engaged 60. Wow, 66, 67. We've already sunk one. Excellent. So we'll try and get all those convoys destroyed, and everybody is of course coming to war against us. We have seized the British Crown Colony of Hong Kong for the Emperor. Alright, so now that we have Hong Kong in our hands, which of course does bring in one civilian factory, we are going to go ahead and assign these troops over to our northern border with India. We still are not yet at war with the British Raj, so we cannot send our troops in just yet. And just to illustrate that difference, our submarines here in the Straits have engaged one troop convoy. I'm guessing these guys were attempting to either leave the peninsula or get onto the peninsula to help defend it, but we did destroy them. One other significant factor to think of when it comes to these convoys, which is why I am going to emphasize convoys throughout my campaigns a little bit more than I typically have before, is the fact that destroying convoys now reduces war support. General Dachi's Marines are now ready to launch their attack on Borneo. Hopefully we don't face too much resistance, so we can get them knocked out of the conflict quickly. Looks like our Marines have found no resistance against their invasion in North Borneo here, so we should be able to seize that fairly easily. There might not be even too many divisions over there defending. We are mere moments away from seizing control of Singapore, and it looks like that should be done within the next couple of days here. And we are going to want to go ahead and send the rest of the Marines. I only sent 5 to ensure that the planning was done as quick as possible. We're going to go ahead and put the AI in control of the conquest of Borneo. It shouldn't be too difficult, so hopefully even the AI shouldn't be able to mess this up, although they've surprised me in the past. We've also engaged, as you can see, quite a few freight convoys throughout here, and it looks like Singapore is now in our hands. Fantastic. Let's go and knock these guys out, the last remaining province. And yeah, you can see that we have engaged quite a few freight convoys throughout here. It looks like there is actually our first British warship here. We are engaging with just one single destroyer. It's not even a British destroyer, excuse me. And that destroyer has identified, they've capitulated. Excellent. That was too easy. They have identified one of our submarines, so they are vulnerable to being sunk by that screen. So now that these guys are capitulated, we now have control of all of the... we'll actually have to ask for control here, but it does seem that they are willing to give it to us, so it shouldn't be a problem. But this will gain us, once we get into our hands, it'll gain us access to a many number of civilian factories, military factories, and dockyards, as well as the insane number of resources here. So once we gain control of Sumatra, we should have the oil that we need to get us through the early part of the war, I would say, and obviously rubber is no longer an issue. So it looks like all 8 of our submarines were able to successfully get away. That one who got caught only took 33% damage, and just in time as well. It looks like 5 Australian destroyers had just arrived, and I did say that the first destroyer was Australian, but that's not Australian. That is a Malaysian destroyer, and we were able to successfully sink 3 convoys for that. But now we know that there are destroyers in the region, 6 destroyers in the region. Looks like there's also 17 enemy ships operating in the South China Sea. Another thing that I'm noticing here is that there's a large fleet operating right off the coast of Japan, 33 to 35 ships. We have not discovered them yet, and I think one of the problems here is we don't have any radar coverage over here. So just to show you guys our current radar coverage across the Pacific, we've got decent coverage for what we have available in regards to land. Could cover there, but I think that this would probably get covered by these once we get larger radar stations, which we're currently researching, I believe. So let's go ahead and build one here to try and kind of help locate this fleet here. In fact, maybe it would be better to instead build it. No, we'll build it right here, and then we'll build one down here as well. So now I have the political power to change something up. We're going to go ahead and get the naval aircraft designer, since we're getting close to 1940 and unlocking the 1940 planes. Most importantly, to get extra range in naval tech for our naval bombers, since I think that's going to be the most important part of the air war for us. So one of the things I wanted to show you guys is our submarines here sunk, one convoy, obviously, and it's not much, and then they were engaged by 11 enemy destroyers, and it was actually 16 submarines here total, and they automatically disengaged. And you can see this little meter here filling up for when they disengage. They're still not revealed yet, so the destroyers can't even attack them just yet. And this is why submarine combat in the Man the Guns expansion has become not only just viable, but extremely powerful, unlike the previous version of the game, where submarines were just garbage. They were just not all that useful because they just didn't get disengaged. They would be attacked after just trying to sink some convoys, and they were not very capable at disengaging. On top of that, they were easily revealed, and they would often get sunk, and you'd lose submarines in massive numbers. But as we see here, they're all disengaging. All 16 should get away before they're even seen, and they were able to successfully destroy the convoy. And like the one that we saw over here, the battle here, where one submarine was engaged while the other ones fled, and even the one who had been discovered was still able to get away. All right, we have an alert here that we have spotted an enemy navy in the South China Sea. This is the new spotting mechanic. Shows the progress here on this bar on how quickly you're going to get them spotted. You see we're at 97%, and the daily changes quite quickly. And you can see all the modifiers towards that, from our detection chance, and of course our coordination is giving us a massive boost, and then just the base detection and range in the region is helping as well, while the weather is actually not helping us so much because the rain is currently reducing naval detection by 10%. Ooh, we got naval combat in the coast of Japan. Let's take a look. Who is engaging us here? It looks like it is a submarine fleet of a British submarine fleet, 7 submarines. We have sunken one of them. Perhaps more submarines are on the way. Our escort fleet, in fact, this may actually be our patrol fleet right now. They 2 light cruisers, 6 destroyers. They have engaged them, and you can see that they have a 50% screening rate based on the fact that they can screen up to 2 ships effectively. And they're trying to screen 4 ships. Just based on how many escorts we currently have here, screens, and yeah, this is just such a better mechanic. You can actually save your convoys now due to this. If you have enough escorts, you can save them. We do have a storm here, so that's going to affect several things, including our ability to detect these submarines, and then most importantly, it does seem that it might. Yeah, it looks like they're actually going to be able to retreat quicker due to that as well. So overall, this storm is more beneficial to the enemy submarines than it is to us. But yeah, that's a problem. In fact, it's such a problem that I think that we're going to go ahead and bring some of our planes over here. We actually have one air wing of 100 dive bombers here that we can bring into an airbase to kind of assist here, try and take these guys out. We cannot allow these submarines to operate so close to our home. We've currently laid 10 mines. I don't think that's very many, but I do believe that does assist with our naval supremacy in the region, so it is helpful. So we still have yet to engage them yet. Looks like we're still attempting to. They're probably trying to flee. One thing that I love about the new system is that you can set your fleets to how risky you want them to be as far as engaging. And we currently have, I believe, all of our fleets set to a medium risk. So that battle in the coast of Japan has finished up, and we made those British submarines pay. They lost 2 submarines, but we can now see who is currently in command of the British submarine fleet. It is Admiral Somerville, and Somerville has some fantastic trades. Of course, he has the Lone Wolf trade. He has a Minesweeper one smokescreen specialist, blockade runner, and the superior tactician. So I think he's going to be challenging here, but I believe that our fleets are up to the task. Take a brief minute to look at the land war. Our troops have began invading into British Raj territory. We've got a couple divisions cut off here, 2 divisions. There actually, I believe there might have been, I thought there was 3 divisions there. I don't think we got one destroyed, but yeah, 2 divisions cut off there. We're attempting to cut off the divisions here as well. 3 more divisions operating there, and then hopefully we can just go ahead and wrap all the way around here. Have these 2 divisions here meet up and cut off all those divisions so we can get them surrounded and destroyed. So conflict going well over there. It is also time for us to launch one of our invasions with the Red Marine Army here. We're going to go ahead and have them start taking some islands. They are prepared. All right, so we're going to launch them. We already have some convoy escorts here for them, the battleship, and then the 4 heavy cruisers. That should be able to assist them. The other thing that I'm noticing is that our submarines have once again been engaged by destroyers as they're attempting to sink convoys. They got pretty close to sinking this convoy, 34% before the destroyers got there. These are Australian destroyers as well, and looks like they are currently fleeing. Seems that Admiral Somerville continues to be a thorn on our side here, as he has caught up with 2 of our troop convoys attempting to bring more reinforcements to our islands. And yeah, it does seem that he has had 7 submarines engage us. Luckily, we have a massive force here that should take him out. But he has been sinking several Mexican convoys that are trading for our rubber. I think he sunk like 4 or 5 Mexican convoys there. So that's going to cause some problems for the Mexicans in their attempt to continue building planes in their conflict against Catholic Mexico. So it might end up hurting them. So we definitely need to get Somerville dealt with. Let's take a look at our invasion force. It looks like they once again have faced no resistance, as they're going to be able to go ahead and start knocking out these islands. Our force here still is, it seems the AI is fucking it up. I said that they couldn't possibly, but it does look like they're not doing anything. So let's go ahead and force these guys to attack, make this go a little bit more efficiently. And yeah, we'll have, let's have the other guy, this guy, go over this way, make sure he gets across that river all right. Taking a look at the situation here, guys, we are mere moments away from cutting off all those divisions as planned. It does look like they'll be able to reconnect though here momentarily if we don't do something about it. In fact, we might want to, let's have this guy go here, this guy go over here, and then this guy attack this way instead. How long until he gets over there? Oh, it's going to be days. All right, so we don't have to worry about that too much. I was trying to get that guy cut off. We did have some troops here that kind of caused some issues with that. We're going to let them leave here because I believe they're taking the railroads. Maybe not. We'll try and get them cut off. We have another division here that'll get that guy finished up, though. And yeah, we're mere moments. Closing this up, closing the gap. There we go. Fantastic. Let's go and attack over this way and try and get these troops destroyed. So it looks like we did just lose our first ship casualty of the conflict, guys. Admiral Daigo has lost a submarine, unfortunately sunk by one of the destroyers patrolling here. The Java Sea has been one of the few places where we've actually had some difficulties in some of our convoy attacks. It does seem that there is an escort fleet here that is causing some issues for our submarines. Our Marines have also landed, and we're going to have them conquer that area. We're almost wrapping this area up as well, and then swing on back over to the British Raj, and we're just about wrapped up these divisions too. Let's go ahead and continue pushing forward with our divisions now. Did wrap that up. Excellent. Let's see if we can't get these 2 divisions cut off now. Cut them off at this point here. Just try and make our advance across India as quick as possible by destroying as many of these divisions as we can. We might want to go ahead and use the motorized division to sweep all the way across. So we almost have Borneo wrapped up. There's 2 divisions left defending, and they are completely cut off from supply and surrounded. We're going to get them wrapped up soon, and then Borneo will be on our hands. So that has gone well, but unfortunately the submarine war in this area is not going so well. We have lost 3 submarines here to these destroyers, so definitely losing some submarines, unfortunately. But we have sunk a lot of convoys, so there is that. And we are about to launch an invasion of Sumatra. We are about 3 days away from having it finished in preparation. Taking a look at the conflict here, as you can see, we advanced quite a bit. Cut off a lot of divisions as well. Apparently these guys are trying to move. I don't want that. Let's go and have them seize. Let's have them go this way, actually. Go ahead and seize Dhaka. And these guys are already marching up this way. We have troops here wrapping that up. Excellent. And it does seem that a lot of our divisions are not quite assigned to where they need to be. Let's go ahead and just redo some of these fronts. Let's have them go this way. All right, so that'll work, although it looks like it's in the wrong place. Hopefully it'll adjust itself, because yeah, I don't feel like messing with it, honestly. Well, I think there we go. That guy's now assigned to it. All right, so we'll redo this. We'll get them all assigned here in a little bit. Let's get all this stuff wrapped up over here. Obviously, we also need to advance south here to try and get this territory. I'd like to get it in my hand. It is 5 rubber, but we're doing pretty dang good on rubber, so it wouldn't be bad for our ally to get that instead, I suppose. These guys here, we'll have them wrapped up soon. And yeah, it looks like this is the submarine battle where we did lose 3 submarines, but luckily the other 5 did get away. Unfortunately, continue to lose submarines all throughout the areas, but specifically in the Java Sea, and I think we have just ran out of our reserves as well, though we do have some further reserves. It looks like we built a light cruiser and a destroyer, but unfortunately that is the end of our submarine reserves, so yeah, that leaves us in a sticky situation where we won't be able to replace any losses that we take. We almost got it wrapped up over here. We've also landed our troops here, and they are slowly getting this area conquered for us. We're going to have these guys go this way down the middle. Oops, have them go down the middle for us. Get all that taken care of. Looking at the invasion of the British Raj, we have done quite well, almost finishing it up here. Yeah, it's going nicely, I'd say. And I haven't really been doing much over here. We haven't really had a lot of success, but it looks like they have completely abandoned this front, so let's go ahead and advance up that way, because remember, this front is the closest to the capital of Delhi, so it'd be the quickest way to get the British Raj to capitulate. And let's go and attack over this way. We've already got troops wrapping that up. Let's go and start pushing down with the tanks here. And did we lose another submarine? We did not. We sunk a convoy. Excellent. But yeah, just losing so many submarines. I could send more of these troops over here, but it just doesn't really feel like it's necessary. Plus, I don't really want to bring the motorized troops here. I suppose we could bring like 1 division to kind of assist us. I kind of brought the more rookie divisions over here. Let the veterans kind of sit and defend Singapore for right now. Let's go ahead and make sure that these guys are coming over this way. In fact, all these guys are all messed up on their fronts. So let's go ahead and have these guys continue advancing down the coast, while these guys advance down the other coast, and this division advances down the center. Fantastic. Oh yes, these guys are now done. So we're probably going to have them invade Java. We'll have them invade from right there, in fact. So we do want to set this so that we do not repair there, because we currently have our submarine fleet repairing on that one. It's taken longer than it would have. So let's go ahead and get all these guys assigned. We're going to have them invade from right here and hit up that point. Oh, well, we don't really have to hit Batavia up because it's connected. So in fact, it would probably be better to not send these troops there. Yeah, I think that would be completely unnecessary. We're going to likely have them impair an invasion for somewhere else. Not entirely sure just yet. Let's just get them moving to a port for now. Because yeah, these guys can wrap this up. We could attack it from 2 directions, but I just don't think it's necessary because it doesn't seem like there's a ton of defenders there. One thing we're pretty lucky with is the fact that, let's have these guys go take this, is the fact that the Dutch were involved with the European War for quite some time. So that has, of course, resulted in, I'll have these guys go over this way, has resulted in the majority of the forces being in Europe and not really able to defend against all of our invasions here. So our troops continue to push down Sumatra, almost have the entire island conquered. We have gotten here conquered, and now these guys are about to launch a second invasion. Looking back at India, we've gotten Burma, pretty much all of it conquered, with the exception of 1 little province there, and we've gotten some troops cut off here, 2 divisions cut off here, British Raj divisions, as well as quite a few divisions cut off over here. I see 1 French division and 2 British divisions that are cut off, as a tank unit is currently pushing towards Calcutta. So we're also advancing up here as well. Unfortunately, we did face a little bit of resistance across the river there, but that's okay. And we're going to start pushing forward to try and get Delhi from the back here. But overall, so far, everything's going pretty well. Not facing too much resistance. However, of course, the naval conflict, we're still just getting tore up by these destroyers. And so I think it's about time that we repaid the favor to them. We're going to go ahead and stretch out our fleet to cover over here. This fleet right here. Now, they're currently covering 2 regions. They don't really have, as many task forces as I would like for covering the Java Sea, but we do need to start doing it. I haven't seen any naval coverage here, which I was kind of worried about. Excuse me, I didn't mean naval coverage. I meant air coverage. I was worried that the maybe allied planes of some sort, British, maybe Dutch, would be bombing us here. But I haven't seen anything when our submarines go through here, so it's about time that we repaid the favor and destroyed this escort fleet there that's just been demolishing our submarines. Probably should have done it earlier, of course, but you know, it is what it is. We'll do it now. Let's go ahead and get these guys pushing forward here now that we have, feels like we have enough troops to have this taken care of. I'm not too worried about it now. And here's the big moment, guys. On the 24th of February 1940, the United States has joined the Allies. So now the Pacific War really begins, and we are not prepared for it. I was kind of expecting them to join a little bit later than that, but I think the conflict in the Americas is the reason why. It's not just Mexico here, guys. We actually have quite a few, as you see. Pretty much all of Central America has joined the Allies, but if you take a look at our faction, so we can look at Catholic Mexico here, we have also got a couple South American countries into our faction. Venezuela has joined, as has Peru. I think the involvement of these conflicts in the Americas is the reason why the United States has decided to join so quickly. They're working on the Two Ocean Navy Act. Frankly, we are not prepared at all, our fleet right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give some new ships here. And it does seem that these guys are currently engaged in the Java Sea already. But we're going to want to give them some more modern fleets once they get out of battle. Because I would like to pull some of the destroyers out and have them assist some of the other fleets here. But we can expect that we're going to have some issues from the Americans. I want to go ahead and start getting an invasion planned as well, so we can take Guam so they won't be able to operate so far away. It's going to close down that naval base, but we've also are going to have to take Wake Island. So that's another one that we're going to have to take soon. And we still haven't really even taken the British Islands yet, the Gilbert Islands. We've kind of been waiting. As I said, I did not expect the United States to join this quick, so that's going to change the game, guys. It's going to get quite a bit more challenging. Of course, they have been pulled into all the conflicts as expected. Let's go on and attack here. Looks like the French are actually right there. All right. I guess we might need a few more divisions over here to assist us. All right, these guys are going to take care of this. We're going to have this guy just fly forward. We'll see if he can't take that victory point there. Let's have the tanks come here. We now have our air base that I've been shooting for. Let's go ahead and move our planes so they can help us out here and get a little bit of air coverage in eastern India. So now that the Philippines and America are in the conflict, I think it's about time that we invade the Philippines. So let's go ahead and set up a naval invasion. Hopefully they don't get caught along the way. We're going to be invading into the northern port here. It's not a large port, unfortunately, but I think Manila would likely be well defended by American troops, so we won't even attempt that. We're going to go ahead and send all 8 of the divisions as well. It might be needed, and it looks like we are engaging that destroyer fleet, or about to, sending our ships over there now to attempt to destroy those guys. And we're doing very well in India. Once again, got all these troops cut off here. Just continuing to push forward. All right, our fleet has engaged that destroyer fleet, but unfortunately, they were not able to damage them or destroy them. That's the one that's been tearing up our convoys. I would love to see how many kills they currently have. Let's take a look and see what happened over here. All right, looks like we're destroying some Filipino convoys. We can see that there's at least one division covering that. So you know if there's one division covering there, then there's got to be at least one, if not more than that, covering Manila. All right, here we go, guys. This is the first attack against American ships, first battle. We are facing Chester Nimitz, which is awesome that Nimitz is over here in the Pacific as he was historically. He has 16 submarines, and once again they're continuing to engage us here off the coast of Japan. Our fleet has not engaged them yet. They have attempted to sink some of our convoys here. I don't know if those are troop convoys or they have sunk some convoys. We'll have to take a look at those, if those are troop convoys or not, because they have been sending troops out. But our destroyers are about to engage them. Hopefully the rest of the fleet will arrive soon, and we can get our first battle against the Americans going. And I did want to take a look at if those were troop convoys. The freight convoys. It seems I have the ideology map mode on as well. You're wondering why it looks like that. Unfortunately, Admiral Nimitz has avoided us. We have not been able to capture him, and that might have something to do with some of his traits. I'm not entirely sure here. Maybe not. It doesn't seem he has one for fleeing. Retreat decision chance. There we go, plus 25%. So yeah, he was able to flee after sinking 4 of our convoys. We were not able to engage him. However, we might have, yeah, here we go again. Here he is sinking more convoys. So causing us some issues there, guys. We do have our planes here, but they are unfortunately not quite able to reach there. We could move them here, but remember, they do lose efficiency the more that you move them. So the idea of moving them every single time that they attack us probably wouldn't be very effective, I don't think. We are still battling in the Java Sea, attempting to get all of the Australian ships destroyed. We are finally engaging them. Hopefully we can get this wrapped up soon. Let's take a look at how this is going to go. Looks like we do have pretty good screening efficiency. Frankly, that's not quite enough, though. I feel like maybe more screens are going to be needed. They were able to sink one of my destroyers. We sunk 5 of theirs. I think these the battleships are doing the most damage here. I think only... yeah, 1 torpedo there is hit, done barely any damage. Yeah, torpedoes aren't really the ones doing the damage here. Looks like it's mostly coming from the naval bombers and the heavy guns. Yeah, that's the way it seems. So 5 destroyers left to get sunk there, and then we'll have hopefully the Dutch and Australian fleets greatly reduced. Let's just take a look and see what the Dutch East Indies has left as far as their ships. They have 5 ships left. Looking at Australia, they currently have 9 ships remaining. All right, so the Battle of Makassar has finished up. We lost 1 destroyer in that battle. However, we're able to sink 11 total destroyers in a convoy. Not a bad trade-off, and hopefully that should have greatly reduced the fleets that are operating over here. Yeah, Dutch East Indies have no further fleets. Australia still has 9 ships left. And some more convoy battles over here. Sinking convoys throughout here. I don't know if any of our bombs are being very effective. Our mines, let's just take a look at how far we've mined it. We have 58 mines here, and probably about 61 there. So they might have hit a couple mines, because usually it's about equal. It is contributing to 6% of our naval supremacy there, so it's helping, I suppose. For only having 3 mine ships out there, that's not too bad, I'd say. And yeah, they're engaging our submarine fleets there as well. So we're still attempting to get our invasions launched. It's taken a little bit of time to get those wrapped up. And then now that we've done that, let's just go ahead and seize the capital. I don't think that'll be enough to finish the war in India, but we will see. We've got a little bit longer in this video, and I'm going to go ahead and just send these guys, have them go. Let's go ahead and give them orders and have them go ahead and start conquering India. There's no reason for me to manually control this one. There's literally nobody out here. In fact, let's go ahead and do this and get them assigned. All right, excellent. Let's go ahead and have all of our troops start advancing under the control of the AI, so this will go a little bit quicker. Maybe. You know, the AI is kind of incompetent, so I wouldn't have too high of expectations of what they could and couldn't do. All right, let's go ahead and continue trying to attempt to seize there. They have not pulled their troops back yet, so I almost don't even care that we're not really advancing here, honestly, because, yeah, it's distracting a large number of troops. Looks like we did sink an American submarine finally, but looks like the close air support were largely the ones who did it, but let's just take a look. In fact, no, it looks like one of our destroyers did the job, did the trick, and got him sunk. Excellent. Good job, mate. More convoys being sunk there. All right, still not engaging. Oh, wait a minute. Let me take that back. Have a battle in the Solomon Sea. It's just submarines again. Okay. Another battle over here as well. I'm not seeing where it is. I must be blind. Yeah, I'm not seeing the actual conflict here. We do have our troops across here, so let's go ahead and start wrapping this territory up. And we're going to have this guy go straight away across there. So I want to go and take a look at our radar coverage across here, make sure that we're getting, you know, the most benefits that we can. I don't want to build, like, too much, because remember, when they get a higher level, then you're able to cover it a little bit better. But it would probably be a good idea to get some going here, at the very least. And that's probably good. We might build here as well. Yeah, I think that'd be smart. Let's go and take those up to the top. And we're having massive fuel issues. We have 85 days left of fuel, despite having seized large amounts of fuel, you know, oil reserves there. So we should probably build some more synthetic refineries over here in the homeland, trying to help fix these issues. So it looks like we have a few dockyards available. I've been just kind of assigning to the cruisers and the destroyers, getting them filled out, but I think it would be a good idea, since we've almost got the carrier done. The next carrier done is going to be finished on the 12th of April 1940, so next month. I think it'd be a good idea to get a second carrier going, and since we have the experience, though not as much as I would have expected by this point. Apparently the convoy wars, the convoy battles don't really do much It'd be a good idea to use it, though, to make sure that we have the most modern equipment as we can, the stuff we've unlocked. So we have better anti-air available. We also have better radar available. I don't think I have anything else unlocked just yet. We are going to keep this carrier devoted towards deck space so that we can have the most planes that we can get. All right, so let's go and save that, and let's get it constructing. Of course, we got an alert there saying that that's not the most recent carrier anymore, but that's okay. Let's get the next line here. I'll put it up at the top, and for right now, just devote the 2 dockyards that we have. Actually, let's just go ahead and put any further dockyards that we get into that as well. So our naval supremacy is challenged throughout this region, guys. You can notice that we have 81 to 87 enemy ships operating here, while we have 156 to 165 ships operating right in the Mariana region. So that tells us that the main American fleet in the Pacific is somewhere located in this region. I don't see them anywhere else. It seems that we just have not been able to find them yet, and they haven't found us, probably for the best, considering the fact that they greatly outnumber us. Oh, look at this. We have finally engaged with one of the British fleets. We were able to, and this is our main fleet here. It might be a good idea to switch the fleets and bring Yamamoto's fleet over to the main theater for fighting the Americans, especially since the British haven't really been inclined on sending the large fleets over here that I was expecting for this episode. We did sink 2 light cruisers and 10 destroyers, didn't lose anything, though it looks like some of our ships might have taken a bit of damage. And let's see what else we have here. Just some convoys sunk as well. So I have updated Ozawa's fleet just a little bit, sent them some of our newer ships, a couple newer destroyers as well as a newer light cruiser. You see that the carriers have got a bit of experience as well, but overall I still think that perhaps in the next episode, since this one is just about finished, that we might want to switch up our fleets and send a more powerful fleet out of the South China Sea, especially since we have mined the hell out of the South China Sea, so I'm hoping that that might help us keep control of it. We currently have 62 mines. You can kind of see them floating around here as well, and hopefully that should help. And you can see there's only 22 ships currently over there compared to the 150 something here, so for obvious reasons I think we should maybe consider switching up those fleets. A lot of battles going throughout here. These are all largely more of Chester's submarines, just taking out our convoys. Unfortunately, just have not had enough success with our escorts taking them down. So we were getting this wrapped up as well. We did face resistance, unfortunately, to try and take the capital. As expected, I didn't think that they would allow me to march all the way to it. I kind of hoped that they would, but didn't end up happening. But they're not really pulling troops back, so that's good news. Let's go ahead and bring some more troops this way, start attacking over here. Let's go and see if we, you know what, I'd love to take that air base and try and get some more air support over there for our guys. Looks like we did have a battle over here. It's just what convoys. Well, there were destroyers and light cruisers there. Did a little bit of damage, but they did escape our grasp, unfortunately. It looks like we are engaging another British fleet here. It seems that the British have finally decided to bring more ships here. They currently have, looks like, well, we sunk 1 destroyer, and it looks like they have about 7 destroyers and 3 light cruisers here. So we should be able to get this small fleet destroyed if they're not able to escape us. And I guess we could watch some of that and see how things are going. We did lose a light cruiser there, unfortunately. All right, come on. You can do it, buddy. All right, yeah, we're sinking them pretty easily. All right, not too challenging of a battle, and we did sink 3 light cruisers and 8 destroyers at the cost of 1 light cruiser. So we are winning the battle of the South China Sea right now. Still trying to get our troops going this way. Did not quite cut them off yet, so let me just go ahead and attack here. In fact, let's go ahead and have these guys go over here and wrap that up. Make sure that they don't get to escape there. These guys are currently marching down the coast. Try and take that. Oops. Let's have these guys advance across the other side of the coast. We have 120 something days left of fuel left, although it is starting to tick up, but overall definitely starting to have some fuel issues. And we did have another battle over here. Let's take a look at it. Seems that we did lose 2 more convoys, unfortunately. What's going on over here? Yeah, I don't know why our fleet hasn't been very effective at engaging them. Let's just take a look and make sure that they are set to task force. We do have the patrols out there as well. Not entirely sure why we just haven't been able to catch them. They've just been too quick. They've been very elusive, those submarines. We haven't been able to catch them. We could do the invasion here, I believe. I think that this invasion's ready. We do need to give him, 6 more days. We do got to give them a commander as well, so we can knock out Guam take that under our control. But yeah, that's actually going to be the end of this episode. I wanted to do exactly 3 months for it. We are March 11th, 1940, so that would be 3 months from when we started. And I'm having a blast with it. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys like it as well, seeing the battles and having a more condensed type of video. And let me know what you guys think about this. Obviously, this is not going to be the normal thing for the channel. We're going to continue the United States Let's Play. But I would like to continue this Battle of the Pacific series, little mini-series. So let me know what you think, if you enjoy this or not. I'd love to hear your opinion. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, and go check out that United States playthrough. I think that one's going to be really, really fun, and that is a normal Let's Play. I think the first video is like an hour and a half long. Expect another video of this, though. Probably won't be it won't be tomorrow, because these do take a little bit longer to record. I mean, this took a while to record, guys. Yeah, just the format of it is going to be longer to record, longer to edit, so it's not going to be an everyday thing. But there will be another video this week, hopefully the day after tomorrow. I suppose we'll see. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. And thanks for watching, guys.